Hello and welcome to another Tabletop Ramblings Middle-earth strategy battle game battle report. In today's game, I'm going to test out the Mordor list that I'll be bringing to Scouring of Cheshire. It's a 700 point event and it's actually on this weekend when this video goes live. So hopefully the Mordor list will be doing themselves proud, and this is a bit of a tester game for that. We're going to do Contest of Champions because that's probably one of the weaker games for this Mordor list, especially against someone as powerful as Aragorn. So that is who we've cherry picked to come up against Mordor for this game. This is the Witch King's army. We have the Witch King with 3 might, 18 will, 3 fate, his crown, and he's mounted on a fell beast. And then flying him out the way so that we can see what's behind. He is leading 4 trackers, a Numenorean with banner, 5 Black Numenoreans, backed up by 5 Moranons with spear and shield and a Warg rider. We then have Grishnak with a tracker, 5 Black Numenoreans and 5 Moranons with spear and shield, and a Warg rider with shield. And finally, Gorbag, again with the same warband of 5 Black Numenoreans, 5 Moranons with spear and shield, although one doesn't have a shield to make up points, and there's a tracker and a Warg rider with shield. And that is 800 points of Mordor. And by that we mean 700 points. Because today's game is a tester for the Mordor force, we've chosen to go up against King Ellasar and his Minas Tirith force. We're going to be doing Contest of Champions, and he is about as contesty a champion as it's possible to get. So that's Aragorn King Ellasar on armoured horse. He's got a knight with him, then he's got a warband of fearless bodyguards at the front with the 5 Fountain Court with shield, and then there's 5 warriors of Minas Tirith behind. He's brought along Ingold, the decent frontline warrior, along with 5 warriors with shield and 6 with spear and shield, and then Hurin to hold those flanks with 5 warriors with shield, 5 rangers with spear, and a knight. And that is 700 points of Minas Tirith. This is the table for today's battle. It's a ruined, still burning town that's been taken over by orcs. They've set up camp, but now Aragorn is coming to clear them out. The centre is fairly clear of terrain for a nice open battle in the middle, as most of the fighting is just going to be in the centre, as this is Contest of Champions. In Contest of Champions, all of the victory points just about are based around the leaders, those champions. There's 3, 5 and 7 victory points on offer for having more kills with your leader, double or triple. And then there's 3 if your leader kills the enemy leader. No one else can get those victory points. It has to be your leader that does it. And then there's just 2 for breaking the enemy, or 1 if you break them but you're broken. So everything hinges on those leaders. So with that, we'll get into deployment. Both forces have now deployed. The scenario dictates that the leader warbands have to go down first, and they have to be within 3 inches of the centre. The leader within 3 inches, and then the rest can be anywhere within 6 of the leader. So they've gone down, and then the rest of the forces have just tried to wall things off. Ingold's band went down second, blocking this off, and Gorbag went slightly further away so that if Minas Tirith get first turn priority and decide they want to charge, they'll have to come out. And if some fail courage tests, it'll just mess up their line. It makes them less likely to come out so that they can then pick favourable fights. over on this flank, Hurin is deployed with a little escape route to the back so that he'll be able to heroic combat out and go for the Witch King, as has Aragorn. He can heroic combat and get the Witch King. If the Witch King tries his hand at going behind the line and getting kills, because obviously this scenario is all about leader kills. So the deployment is basically to try and stop the Witch King from being able to fly around and abuse things. Mordor have had to put the banner not central because the Witch King had to deploy within 3. So they've put it off centre, which then meant now it is a bit vulnerable, but Hurin would have to really overextend himself. It is blocked off from an immediate heroic combat, and there's a Warg to take off his mounted charge rather. So it's an okay position for Mordor and a fairly strong position there for Minas Tirith. So that is how we're looking after deployment. We'll roll for first turn priority, and we might have to come back when we found some dice. Not very prepared here. There we go. So we found some dice, and green, of course, is good, and red is evil. And priority for the first turn will go to evil, and we'll come back if there's going to be any heroics. So with Mordor priority, Aragorn is going to use his 3 point of might for a heroic move. Now, if he calls with me, then there's going to be some courage tests against the line, and it means the Witch King will be able to then abuse stuff afterwards a little bit safer than otherwise, because he'll know where things are. And if he doesn't call with me, then he'll get his charge bonus and be fairly safe. But either way, there isn't really much that Mordor can do about it. They could charge in and mess around, but it's not really too great for them. They're better off taking the charge. So Aragorn's going to call that uncontested. He's not going to call with me. And he nearly bottles his courage test. Courage 7 with the army bonus. He is in. And he charges them. His flanks are still safe. That gap's not big enough for the Witch King. And then it is Mordor's priority. So a bit of a calculated risk on the flank there with Hurin, as he is exposed to getting charged by the Witch King and all sorts of nasties, and he's only got 1 point of will. So probably worth it to stop the Witch King from getting behind and abusing stuff too early on. Allow Aragorn to rack up some kills, because he's going to be very hard to stop. So the Witch King will call a... he's going to try and compel Hurin. Goes off on a 4, and he's going to use 3 of his will, because I'm used to a 16 point will. Witch King, he's got 18, so we can use a few more. It goes off on a 5. We'll re-roll that 1, see if we can get the 6, because he's got the crown. Oh, and it does go to a 6, so Hurin's 1 will point to resist is a 2. That is not good. That was a very poor decision there from Minas Tirith. But we're going to re-roll that simply because this is a test for Mordor, and that was a bad roll. So we're going to re-roll it, give them the benefit of the doubt. It's still only a 3. Even doing a little bit of cheating on behalf of Minas Tirith, who are the test army, they still fail that. 3 points of might. Yeah, Hurin's going to burn all 3 might to not get compelled. If he does, he's going to move here. He's going to be absolutely annihilated by the Witch King, Grishnak, all those friends. So he's going to burn that might. And he's now got no will, no might, which still means he can't strike. He's still very vulnerable. This could be a bit more of an even fight. Aragorn is still going to be getting his 4 kills a turn. So the Witch King is still going to have to put in a lot of work, but at least it's looking like Hurin might go down now. So after that movement phase, we have Grishnak and the Witch King against Hurin, which is a little bit messy there for the out of might Hurin. Probably a bit of a mistake there, but it was a calculated gamble that really didn't pay off. Then along the line, a very poor fight there for Mordor, just to be able to get Grishnak in on Hurin, and then it's just all along the line, everything engaged. This guy wasn't, but he passed his courage test to get in. Gorbag couldn't get into combat because we did these guys first, and I'm going with the logic that I might be against an opponent who's a real stickler for the rules. So I didn't take back the move. I would if it was Minas Tirith that made the slight mistake, because I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, as they're a bit of a tester army. But Mordor, I'm trying to be a bit strict, just in case, because it's quite good to practice under very difficult situations, and then hopefully the real thing's a bit easier. But that tends not to happen. It tends to just mean that I lose both the real thing and the practice. But hey ho. So that's the movement. Minas Tirith really couldn't move anything other than that chap. Everything's engaged, all their spear supports are in place. They're just waiting for the dice to be rolled in combat. There's going to be no shooting. There's the trackers in this kind of game, they're more just to bulk out the numbers and help them not break. If Aragorn was just against one, they might shoot into the combat, but as it is, we'll go into the combat phase, where, unsurprisingly, the Witch King will strike and Grishnak will call a heroic combat. And then Aragorn, even though he's used his free, he's going to spend one from his store to call a heroic combat. Even if the Witch King gets a couple of kills, if Aragorn has more, he is still going to be in a very strong position in this scenario. And the Witch King against Aragorn is going to be very one-sided. Aragorn will cut him to bits mid and late game. So still an uphill battle for Mordor, but we'll see what the Witch King has. So we'll roll off for which heroic goes first. We'll roll one of these nice gold dice from Imp Gaming, and it's a 1, 2 or 3 for Mordor and a 4+ for good. It does go to the Witch King, which actually isn't the worst thing in the world for Aragorn. It means that the Witch King can't go anywhere near Aragorn, or even up there safely, because Aragorn could just pull right back, try and win the heroic move roll off, kill him, and then he's auto won the scenario. So there's definitely something to think about there for the Witch King. We'll do that combat first. What does the Witch King strike up to first? He strikes up to 9. I can't do the maths. So he is definitely higher than Fight 5 Hurin, and in fact he's high enough to be able to feint, just to really rub salt into the wound. So we'll roll the Witch King on Tabletop Ramblings dice. Gorbag can be the nice gold dice, and then he does have a spear support because overkill is underrated, to quote the A-Team. So that's a lot of dice, just looking for a 6. And the spear support is the only one who gets it, so well done, Mr. Spear Support. And then we'll roll all of these. So we'll combine Tabletop Ramblings dice. Oh, in fact, no, we've got 8 red ones. There we go. It's just a bit cleaner that way. So the Witch King's dice, he is looking for 4s against defense 6 Hurin. And yeah, Hurin is absolutely slaughtered. So Hurin goes down. And I believe there is a special rule in this scenario. We'll double check it in a minute. But there's a special rule where if your leader kills an enemy hero, they regain a point of might. So he's now back to full might. It's as though that strike was free. And then the Witch King is going to risk it. He's going to come up here and he's going to go, if we can twist his wings around, into these 2. And Grishnak is just going to pop into that spearman there. Even though he is an even fight, it should be good for a laugh. And it means, importantly, if Aragorn does come up and goes after the Witch King, then Grishnak is close enough so that his heroic move will affect the Witch King to save the Witch King's might for strikes and other important things. So just double checked, and yes, the Witch King has regained that might, so he's on full might. Aragorn is looking to regenerate some might, and he spied Grishnak. Fortunately, not that it was pre-measured, I've just measured it now. Grishnak is out of charge range, so Aragorn can't use and abuse him. So this heroic combat, and he won't be able to bounce off at least into Grishnak. So we'll set the bar with evil first. The front guys are going to stab because they'll die if they lose anyway. So a 5 high, Aragorn looking for just a 5 to win. And he has lost on a 4 high. There's no banner for evil. Point of might will take him down to just 1. He does get 1 free every turn. He's going to do it because he needs kills. So he uses another point of might. That's 3 this turn, 2 from his store to win the fight. So then, oh dear, the first guy on 4s because he's got Anduril kills him. The second guy, no, but that's only his second double strike. No, and then his last double strike, no! Oh, Aragorn, you moron! Oh, that is atrocious. So he burnt might to win the fight, and it's a heroic combat, but he's unable to kill both the guys. 8 dice wounding on 4s, and he just couldn't do it. This guy is knocked prone, but Aragorn, what an absolute clown. That's a bad start there for Minas Tirith. That is not how I was expecting that to go at all. We'll find a prone marker for him, and then we'll do the rest of the combats. And Aragorn, having not completed his heroic combat, doesn't get to move on. I was expecting an easy 4 kills there for Aragorn to put some pressure on the Witch King, but it wasn't meant to be. Near the end of the fight phase, and basically nothing has died. A guy died there, and a guy died there, and there. So 2 Numenoreans fell, and a Fountain Court Guard. All along here, evil won all the fights except the one that Ingold was in. But there was just no casualties. Everything just got pushed back. Evil, even though they won most of the fights, all got pushed back because of Resolute Fighter. And Grishnak, on the end, slaughtered a ranger there. We'll pop in though for the last fight, which is the Witch King. He has already got 1 kill, so he's even kills with Aragorn. He's looking to get some extras here. So those 2 warriors of Minas Tirith are going to shield. They really don't want to die, and they may well do on a 3 high. That is poor. The Witch King gets a 5. So they have lost. Aragorn is a 6-inch banner, which helped win quite a lot of fights. That's miles away though. So the first guy getting wounded on 4s is super dead, and the next guy is dead. And there were still 2 double strikes to spare. So that puts the Witch King on 3 kills. He's currently on higher kills, although it's still very early in the game. That's a fairly good position for Mordor to be in, but Minas Tirith, as long as Aragorn can pull his finger out, should still be able to make short work of this Mordor force. So that's the end of the turn. The Witch King still on full might, Aragorn on 1, although he does get his 1 free. And the Witch King has spent 4 will, 3 for a spell, 1 for combat. It's combat per turn. It has been raised before, but if you do a heroic combat, it's not per combat, it's per turn in combat, which is well worth knowing because it keeps the Witch King around that little bit longer. So we'll roll for priority, and it goes to good. Good priority then for turn 2, and Grishnak is calling a heroic move. He'll get the Witch King, he'll get most of these guys, just knocking that 10. Importantly, this guy will be able to charge Aragorn to take off his charge bonus. Not that the charge bonus helped him get any kills last turn, but hopefully he will improve, so that Numenorean needs to cancel that out. Aragorn only has 1 and is free, so he's probably not going to contest that. He's not got anyone that can charge the Witch King and stop him from doing anything with the heroic. So, although he could get someone into Grishnak and turn the heroic off. It's Grishnak calling it, but his might's probably too important. He needs to call some heroic combats and that kind of thing and carve through stuff. So he's not going to spend that might, especially as he might need it to resist spells and that kind of thing. So he's not going to counter, and Grishnak will move first. And Grishnak, taking all of these guys, it stops with those two. So sadly he won't be able to stand up. And it's not the Warg Rider. So Grishnak is just going to go in and round into Death Alley, taunting Aragorn, daring him to come at him, and then we'll do the rest of the move. Before we do though, the next move will be the Witch King, and he is just with two going to try and we could compel Aragorn and then try and pounce on him, but he can't one-shot Aragorn very easily, so he's going to just transfix him. Goes off on the 3, but we'll re-roll the 2 to a 5. He gets that free re-roll with the crown. So Aragorn now needs to resist. Oh, what to resist with? Probably just 1. Otherwise, he's going to run out of will too quick and then be a bit of a sitting duck. And it was probably a mistake. If he'd used 2, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. If he had used 2, he would have resisted it. But is it worth it just being on 1 will? No, it is probably best just being on 1. And again, we only do that because this is to try and make it as hard as possible for Mordor, because they're the ones that need the practice. So he's going to use his 3 point of might and a point of might from his store, which means he is now out of might for this turn. He will get 1 free each turn, but he's now really going to start to struggle. He's got 2 will left though, so he can keep resisting spells. So then the Witch King will just come in to these 2 rangers. And then that is the Witch King's move, and we'll come back once all of the plebs have moved as well. So with that heroic, the banner has been able to get up to this fairly safe area, although with hindsight, the knights can potentially pick him off, although the Witch King's there to heroic combat into them, so it's fairly safe. And here, the line has just been engaged with very brave Grishnak around the back. He's only got 1 might left though, so he's nearly used his usefulness. And then there's still this Warg left to move, but it's good priority. And importantly, Aragorn has been charged. So that is all of the moves from the heroic. We'll now do the normal move for Mordor. And by that I mean Minas Tirith. End of the movement phase, and this gap, it looked big enough, but actually it's not big enough to fit a knight through. So the knight charged there, and then this one looped all the way around to go into a tracker, just to try and get some easy kills. They're also too far apart that they can both be charged by the Witch King. There is a potential hurl line if the Witch King heroic combats and hurls in, but he would need to get a 3 on the dice, which is easy enough, but the Witch King's good at bottling it. If he fails, 3 in terms of getting it far enough to hit Aragorn off his horse, just to explain that properly. If he fails, Aragorn can win a heroic combat next time, heroic move roll off rather, and kill the Witch King. So the Witch King's got some thinking to do. Meanwhile, all along the line, everything is charged. This guy failed his courage test. In fact, he forgot to move, but will be super harsh on Mordor, even though it's probably more just from filming. But we're going to be super harsh on Mordor and not let them move. Here, though, Aragorn has been, as we've seen, charged by 1. This guy stood up but didn't charge him, because Aragorn can't heroic combat, so he might as well only get 1 kill rather than 2. And that is all of the movements of note, really. So we'll go into the combats. There's no shooting again, so we'll go into the combat phase. Combat phase then, and the Witch King, unsurprisingly, is going to use his first point of might, because he got the other one back, on a heroic combat against those two rangers. The rangers get a 5 high, could be worse. The Witch King gets the 6, so the Witch King has won. He's wounding them on 3s. Kills the first one, kills the second. That is the Witch King now on 5 kills. That is a very strong position to be in. We'll then move the Witch King to safety. He did think about it. What would he have got on the hurl? Oh, it would have taken Aragorn off his horse and probably sealed the deal there. But just not worth it. Not worth it. When Aragorn's got no might left, it's probably better off. Oh, actually, as he's got no might, even if he did heroic move, he wouldn't be able to strike, but hey-ho. So yes, the Witch King, we'll carry on with the Witch King. We'll do the Witch King against that knight. The Witch King also has a friend. We'll roll him if need be. It's not needed because the knight only gets a 2, and then the Witch King eats him alive. So the Witch King now on 6 kills, one of which is a hero, which got him a might point back but doesn't count as extra kills. So that's the Witch King there doing very, very well on kills. And we'll do the combats quickly again like last time, just doing the important fights. It saves a bit of time filming and editing, and also saves a bit of time while you watch it. If you'd rather see it all, do comment below, or if you like this format, again, comment below, let me know. Some feedback is always appreciated. So we'll do these combats and we'll come back. Near the end of the combat phase, and Gorbag and friends have managed to get a couple of kills. Most have been pushed back. A trapped guy died. Guy here got overwhelmed. Most things got pushed back. The Warg Rider did manage to eat a warrior, and that's most of the kills. Not too many dead. 2 Numenoreans and a few of the warriors of Minas Tirith. We're jumping in though, because there is a trapped Grishnak. He could, if Minas Tirith are very, very lucky, go down here. So Gorbag 2 attacks. He's not going to shield. He's brave. Oh, and it pays off. He is an even fight with those rangers though. So the rangers will ban a reroll from Aragorn to a 1. Kind of sums up Minas Tirith this game. He is then wounding on 4s. And kills both. Grishnak, absolute monster. So they are both dead. These guys would have to have made way right up to them, not touching though. And then there's this knight on 1. The orc is going to shield for his life and win. Is that knight in range? We'll roll it, see if it matters. No, so the knight backs away. Minas Tirith have really forgotten how to kill stuff here. The final fight then is Aragorn. Aragorn against 2. The front guy is going to stab. On the off chance that they win, they want to kill Aragorn, or even better, well, not better, but just as good, taking him off his horse. They get the 6, putting the pressure on 0 might Aragorn, who only gets a 5. His inspirational banner doesn't affect himself, he doesn't inspire himself, and with no might, and not even his free, Aragorn loses the combat. That is a poor showing. So the Moranon on the horse will, oh actually it's an armoured horse, so the Moranon, he'll go for the horse, and it will be a 5, so he wounds the horse, and so the horse only has 1 wound, but Aragorn, does he fate the horse? Does he need the horse? Probably not, because realistically, he's not going to get the charge anymore, is he? There's better things to spend his might on. Ingold can call heroic moves, though. Oh, we'll fate his horse. We'll see if it helps. It's a failed fate. He's not going to waste any more fate on that horse. The horse is dead. His throne rider, he is fine. And then the Numenorean stabbing against Aragorn does nothing. So Aragorn is now dismounted. Not sure where that loom band's come from. Aragorn is now dismounted, and he's going to have to cut things down the old-fashioned way. But he just can't afford to waste all his fate on a horse, when realistically, he's not going to be getting the charge bonus very much anymore in this game. So that is the end of the combats. Very, very poor for Aragorn. Still on 1 kill to 6. Let's roll for turn, I think only 3. Turn 3 priority. It's a draw. So as good had it last, it goes to evil. And it looks like Aragorn could be in a little bit of trouble now. So it's the start of turn 3, and Minas Tirith's line is in absolute shambles. Ingold, to try and help them out, even though he doesn't really want to have to take a load of courage tests, he's going to call a heroic move. It means Aragorn will get his charge bonus and keep his free point of might for the inevitable heroic combats, or even just a winner combat, which he's not done for a couple of turns. And yeah, it's looking tight for Minas Tirith. Aragorn really needs to start doing some work, which he very much can. Wounding on 4s, he is a beast, as long as he can actually start doing something. So Ingold's going to call, and Gorbag is going to counter. We'll roll a tabletop ramblings dice, looking for that big 6. And it's a 1. That is not good for Ingold and co. As Gorbag and his band are going to move first, shut off that heroic, and then it is evil priority. This is going to be a dark day for Minas Tirith. After that heroic move, Gorbag's gone in on 2 because he gets an extra attack and extra fight value if he's outnumbered. Space support's not counting. And then the line is just charged in. 1 Numenorean couldn't fit in, so he just backed away to make room for all the space supports. And then we're into Mordor's normal move. And the Witchking is going to move. He's going to try and compel Aragorn. Goes off on a 4. He's going to chuck 3 at it because he's got loads of will. And he gets 2 6s, so that was overkill. Aragorn, with only 1 might, he's probably going to have to resist it with 2, because if he gets compelled out and killed, it's game over. So he's going to resist it. But all of his, we'll do 1, give him the benefit of the doubt, see if he can do something good with it. So that wouldn't resist it if he used 2. Oh dearie me. So 2 will gone, and he is unable to resist that. He's compelled. 5 inches out, ready for the Witch King to annihilate him. So he's going to be moving. We'll do that off camera because it's too difficult to do with a camera in hand. End of the movement phase, and things are looking very, very dire there for Aragorn. His force has just been surrounded through the gap that Aragorn had left, and a lot of these fights are not very good for Mordor. There's a lot of one-on-ones. Sometimes they've had to charge 2 at once, mainly in order to pile onto that knight at the back. Grishnak's gonna obviously heroic combat there. The 2 have managed to get up to help out against Aragorn, and the Witch King and all of the ones in range. Even though these 2 haven't moved yet, they are just out of range. They can't quite reach, so they're just going to stay and spear support. So it's looking very, very dicey for Aragorn. There's no shooting. There's no movement for the forces of good. So we'll go into the combat phase. Start of the combat phase then, and Aragorn, because he is compelled, it counts as transfix. It's just the added bonus of moving them. He can't call anything, so he is unable to strike. The Witch King, on the other hand, is going to use his second point of might, and he's going to heroic strike. Grishnak next to them, he is going to heroic combat, as is Gorbag, because he's still got might left, so he might as well. And Ingold, again, same reason. It leaves Gorbag and Ingold just on one, but there Ingold is never going to be able to help out Aragorn. But if he can heroic combat up and Aragorn survives, then at least he can try and heroic move to get Aragorn up and fighting. So that's all of the heroics. We'll do the combats first. We'll roll off to see which combat goes first, and it's good. So Ingold against 2. Ingold really would like to win, and of course he loses. Oh dear me. So they back away. Ingold taking strikes. He's not in shield wall. He was just unable to get into shield wall before. He was then charged before he could move. So he is actually defense 7. So it's 6s either way. No, but re-rolling 1s, because Mordor definitely outnumber Minas Tirith. No, so no wounds there. Ingold is safe. And then we'll do Gorbag next. We'll do Gorbag in gold against 2 guys who are going to shield. And they get 5 high. And then it's Gorbag in gold and the spear support in red. And that is an Imps Gaming 6 there. That is a win. So then it's, are any of those in shield wall? Oh, that guy probably is, because of Ingold's special rule. It is Mordor to back away, and then we'll do 5s on him from the spear support. He's dead. And then 6s from Gorbag, and he's killed him twice over, and 1 that was mightable. That is sickening there. Mordor really on the rampage. Gorbag is then just going to whip round the back into those 2 spearmen, assuming that he's got the range to do that. Oh yeah, 3 to there, yeah, absolutely. It's quite difficult to see sometimes on camera. So his spearman doesn't get to move, but Gorbag most certainly does. And he's just looking for some blood. He didn't manage to charge on the first turn, and he wants to rectify his kill count. Then the next heroic combat is Grishnak. We'll let the knight set the bar on a 1. We're going to go ahead and banner re-roll that for Aragorn to a 4. So Grishnak gets the 6. Grishnak wins that nice and easy. He's then got double strikes and flattens him. Absolutely annihilated. Then Grishnak, no surprise, charges into combat. These 2 are just going to move out the way, and then we'll just measure up if the Warg Rider can get round the back. It does look quite a long way now. So this Warg Rider can't get round the back of the Witch King into Aragorn, so instead he's just going to plough into that warrior of Minas Tirith. But importantly, Grishnak with his 2 attack, strength 4, is in on the fairly worried Aragorn. So most of the combat's done. Not too many deaths. Minas Tirith lost a couple. Only 1 Numenorean going down. When it's troops on troops, generally with these kind of armies, there's not too many casualties each turn, as they're both defense 6 or above, except for the trackers. Couple died across. We are coming in at Gorbag though. Gorbag with his 3 attacks, because he's outnumbered, against 2 guys who are actually just going to fight it. They're going to stab, because why not? They were going to shield, but actually, what's the point? So they get a 4 high. What does Gorbag get? He gets a 5. They've got banner reroll for Aragorn to a 5. So close, but so far away. Gorbag at fight 5 there, because he's outnumbered, has 1. And they benefit of the doubt on him. One of them can have shield wall. So on the guy needing 5s, No, no, and no. Oh dear, those dice have not done the business. Gorbag backs away. Although he's carved his way through and he's up and close to Aragorn, so still a fairly effective heroic combat. We then have the big fight. The Witch King has struck up to fight 10, which means he is able to feint, re-rolling ones, and he'll still be a higher fight than Aragorn, even if he completely fluffs it. So we'll let Aragorn set the bar. What does Aragorn get? Can he get a 6? Yes, he's got the 6. So Aragorn here with a 6 will do the 2 spearmen, who absolutely bottle it. We'll do Grishnak, who gets the 6. And that there could be a dead Aragorn. So we'll do those spearmen first. They're wounding on 6s and no kills. They had double strikes, obviously, because Aragorn is trapped. We'll just move them back a tiny bit. Then Grishnak again on 6s. No wounds, and he's out of might. We then have the Witch King. So the Witch King would rend him on 3s, but he'll only have 4 dice. Or he can try and just go for it, needing 5s. He has got a bit of might. Aragorn's got 2 fate. Yeah, he's going to go for it, needing 5s on 8 dice. And that was probably a bad call. 1 wound there. Oh, but he did feint, so these are re-rollable. Will that do anything? No, and you can't re-roll a re-roll. He has 1 point of might. He can't get the kill. So Aragorn there, 1 wound. He's going to fate it and fail. Last point of fate, fail. So he is down to 2 wounds. He has... Oh, in fact, he was already off his horse, wasn't he? We forgot to put his dismount in. But either way, he's in serious trouble because he's now dismounted. He's on the floor. He's got 2 wounds, no fate, no might. And it could be disaster now for Aragorn. We'll go put his dismount in now. And then we will crack on. Although, just before we do, we'll roll for priority. It does go to good. Small mercies and all that. So Aragorn there is going to have priority, but he's on his bomb. This is the battlefield going into turn 4. The forces of Minas Tirith, they are as far from a shield wall as it's possible to get. They're surrounded and it's looking fairly poor. They're only 1 or 2 off breaking. Mordor have only lost 6 Numenoreans. It's not looking good, but if Aragorn can kill the Witch King, which is possible to do in a single turn, then it will all change. So Ingold is going to be using some resources here, because with good priority, Gorbag is calling a heroic move, so Ingold is going to counter. That leaves the Witch King with 1 might, Gorbag and Ingold out of might, Hurin ironically with quite a lot of might but dead, and then 1 free per turn for Aragorn. So the Witch King needs to deal with Aragorn quickly, because in a protracted game, Aragorn will come through. So this is going to be quite a big roll-off. And it does go to the forces of good. That is, this could be a big swing here, as Ingold is in range of Aragorn. He's got a couple of troops just to try and hold back Mordor long enough to bring down the Witch King. So we'll do that heroic move and then we'll come back. After that heroic, Ingold failed his courage test to charge into this chap here. So someone's spear supporting him just to use control zones to block that area a bit. A lot has been charged. Aragorn was actually out of the of range of it, but not the end of the world, because Gorbag's move has been cancelled and it's good priority. So Aragorn is going to stand up. He's going to take courage, which he passes, and then he's going to move 3 inches around the Witch King's base and he's going to charge in. He's going to try and kill the Witch King, and then try and reclaim this battle. Having priority and winning the heroic move roll-off has been massive for Minas Tirith. They are in dire trouble in a lot of these combats, but it's meant that Aragorn has been able to get in on the Witch King and the banner, and only one Warg Rider has been able to get into the combat. It's enough to get him knocked down if he loses, which isn't great, but he's not been overwhelmed quite as badly. Just 3 models into him as opposed to the 5 that would fit round, because Grishnak and all of these guys have all been tagged. Oh, in fact, there is this guy that was meant to move, but we forgot. So that was quite a successful move there for Minas Tirith. We'll jump into the combats. There's no shooting, so we'll start scrapping. Actually, we tell a lie. There is a shot. This tracker here with Theoden's head painted pink is shooting into Ingold. The odds are slim, but he's hitting on a 4. He does hit 6s by 5s, I think, and it's a 1. So the only shot of the game bounces off Ingold's shield. In fact, it would have been a 6s by 4, in fact, because he's defense 7 when he's not in shield wall. But either way, a 1's not going to cut it. So that's all the shooting. We'll do some combats. It's not too many combats, so we'll do these on camera. This guy's going to shield against 4. And he loses, although only just. And then the Moranons will be wounding on 5s, and they kill him. That is a dead warrior of Minas Tirith. Then we have another 4-on-1. Again, he's going to shield. Just trying to survive long enough for Aragorn to do some work. And it's not looking good. Aragorn's too far away for his banner reroll. So 2 of them wounding on 5s because they are whatever they're called, Moranons, and then wounding on 6s. No, so he's fine, and it is Mordor who back away because of the resolute fighter special rule. We'll then do Gorbag. Gorbag, who's kind of earned his gold dice. He's going to go against someone that's going to shield just here. Gorbag wins there on an Imps Gaming 6. He is loving these gold dice. Ooh, but not enough to get the kill. He's needed a 5 to wound there. And he, as a hero, doesn't get the re-rolling 1's army bonus. We then have this fight here. It's 4 because it's 1-1, and then 2 because that Warg managed to charge in against a shielding and quaking warrior of Minas Tirith who bottles it. He's also miles away from Aragorn, so on a 4 high, that does not do it. So the charging Warg Rider eats him alive. He is dead. It's looking like Minas Tirith are going to be broken and could well be quartered fairly soon. So we then have 2-on-2, 2-on-1, but he's going to shield. And he wins, but that guy is in 6 of Aragorn. And he re-rolls a 2 to a 2, so he still loses. He's defense 7, so he's fine, but he backs away. He's outside of 3 from Ingold for the resolute fighter. And then we have a 2-on-1, but the Orc, he's the only guy in the army that's not a tracker that doesn't have a shield, so he can't shield. He loses, and he's going down on 5s, and he's dead. That is the first Orc to die. We then have a 1-on-1, both just going to fight. It goes to the Forces of Good. That banner's out of range, but it's only a 1. He backs away. We'll then come down to this one here. It's a 4-on-1. He's definitely shielding that Fountain Court guard, but he loses. He is within 6 of Aragorn. Can he get a 6? Oh no, so close. And then he's getting wounded on 6s. No, absolutely fine. Backs away with that important bodyguard as well, keeping that alive. We then have a 2-on-2, and they're all just going to fight it. Oh, where are the dice? There we go. It goes to evil. That fight is out of 6 of Aragorn. And that is a dead Fountain Court on the 6. This is unfortunate here for Minas Tirith. Every life counts now. So 2 on shielding yet again. Oh, and it goes to Minas Tirith. So they get pushed back. The tracker and the spearman. We then have a 1-on-1. Both just going to fight it. Oh, it goes to evil, but with the Aragorn banner doing nothing at all. But no wound there. The Aragorn banner being about as useful as Aragorn himself. We then have this one as a 2 on shielding. Ooh, that's a bit better. And the evil banner, well, actually I have to measure that. It's possibly in range. Oh yes, that's in range. So banner needing the 6, and it is a 6. The Black Numenorean has even fight value with the Fountain Court guard. So we'll roll on tabletop ramblings dice. It goes to good on the 4. So having shielded pushes them back. We'll then do Grishnak and Friend against the shielding Warrior of Minas Tirith, and we'll give Grishnak tabletop ramblings dice. Let them set the bar. Tabletop ramblings 6. They never fail, although they have failed to wound. So he backs away, and then we have the main event, Aragorn and the Witch King. So Aragorn and the Witch King have both struck. Perhaps forgot to say that, but of course they have done. Aragorn's free, and the Witch King's last point of might. We'll do that roll off. Ooh, both fight 10, but Aragorn does have the Elven Blade. So we'll let the Witch King and co set the bar. The Witch King gets the 6. So Aragorn, no might, needs a 6 here, and he has bottled it. 4 high, Aragorn loses the combat. He's knocked to the ground, and the Warg Rider wants some tea. First off though, it's going to be the Witch King. The Witch King is going to rend, because Aragorn only has 2 wounds, no fate. So wounding on 3 pluses, 2 wounds, Aragorn is dead. That is 3 victory points there for killing the enemy leader with your leader. And now Aragorn being dead can't get kills, and the Witch King has definitely got more kills than him, and that is probably where we're going to call the game, because Minas Tirith now have nothing that they can possibly use to break Mordor. Mordor have lost 7, and Minas Tirith are broken. There's still the Witch King, Grishnak and Gorbag on the rampage. With all those mounted units, they're just going to annihilate them. So the Witch King there with triple the number of kills. He had 6 kills, 7 actually, because he killed Aragorn, and Aragorn only had 1. So that's triple for 7 victory points. The Witch King killed Aragorn for 3 to make it 10, and they have broken Minas Tirith and are very much unbroken themselves. So that is a massive 12-0 victory, which is auspicious for the weekend, for this weekend in fact, when this video comes out. However, hopefully we've not just used up all of the good luck with this army before the event, as this really was some incredibly poor luck for Aragorn that sealed the deal for Minas Tirith in that game. So Mordor there smashing their way to a 12-0 victory, and they are heading off now into the box, ready to get packed away for Scouring of Cheshire, where hopefully they'll have the same kind of luck, although I think the reality will be very, very different. The forces of Minas Tirith scamper back with their broken weapons and pride to the White City, hoping above all hope that that was not the long-awaited heir of Isildur as Aragorn now lies dead in the dust. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was very fun and very unexpected, that result. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.